So friends, in what can only be called a colossally stupid act of self-destruction, Donald Trump bites the hand that feeds him judges. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glen Kersner here. Okay, friends, first of all, no one will ever accuse Donald Trump of being a strategic thinker, but he actually just berated, belittled, and demeaned the man, Leonard Leo, and the organization, the Federalist Society, that delivered him Supreme Court justices that gave Donald Trump his get-out-of-jail-free card in their presidential immunity ruling. Let's start with the new reporting. This from Politico. Headline, Trump goes after Leonard Leo and Federalist Society in fury over court ruling. And that article begins, President Donald Trump leveled unusually pointed criticism of a prominent conservative legal activist and organization Thursday as he railed against a ruling that struck down his sweeping tariffs. The president, in a post on his social media platform, slammed Leonard Leo, the former chair of the Federalist Society, calling him a sleazebag who probably hates America. It was a striking characterization of Leo, who played a key role in working with Trump to shape the conservative Supreme Court. This quote from Trump, quote, he, Leo, openly brags how he controls judges and even justices of the United States Supreme Court. I hope that is not so, and I don't believe it is, Trump wrote. Trump's attack came after the U.S. Court of International Trade on Wednesday struck down his tariffs, a massive blow to the primary pillar of the administration's economic agenda. The ruling was temporarily stayed by an appellate court on Thursday. One of the judges on the three-person panel that blocked the tariffs is Timothy Reif, who was appointed by Trump in his first term. The blame, Trump said, lay with the Federalist Society. Quote, I am so disappointed in the Federalist Society because of the bad advice they gave me on numerous judicial nominations, he wrote. This is something that cannot be forgotten. Trump's relationship with the activist, Leo, is known to have grown strained over Trump's disappointment that the three conservative justices he appointed to the court on Leo's advice did not intervene to keep Trump in office after he lost the 2020 presidential election. Okay, let's have a closer look at Donald Trump's post in which he blasts Leo and the Federalist Society. The U.S. Court of International Trade incredibly ruled against the United States of America on desperately needed tariffs, but fortunately, the full 11-judge panel on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit Court has just stayed the order by the Manhattan-based Court of International Trade. Where do these initial three judges come from? Now, friends, before I continue reading Trump's unhinged rant, let me answer that question. Where did these three judges come from? These three judges that ruled against Donald Trump's tariffs? Well, one was appointed by a Democrat president. One was appointed by a Republican president. And the third was appointed by a Republican president. That president happened to be Donald Trump. That's where these three judges came from. Let's return to Trump's garbage. Where did these three judges come from? How is it possible for them to have potentially done such damage to the United States of America? Is it purely a hatred of Trump? What other reason could it be? I was new to Washington and it was suggested that I use the Federalist Society as a recommending source on judges. I did so openly and freely, but then realized that they were under the thumb of a real sleazebag named Leonard Leo, a bad person who, in his own way, probably hates America and obviously has his own separate ambitions. He openly brags how he controls judges and even justices of the United States Supreme Court. I hope that is not so, and I don't believe it is. In any event, Leo left the Federalist Society to do his own thing. I am so disappointed in the Federalist Society because of the bad advice they gave me on numerous judicial nominations. This is something that cannot be forgotten. Boy, the buck never stops with Donald Trump, does it? You know, the judges that Trump appointed have been ruling against him, and not just in the tariffs case, but in case after case after case. So Donald Trump has to blame somebody. It can't be his fault, even though he appointed the judges. So he lashes out at Leonard Leo, and he blasts the Federalist Society, and he calls all the judges lunatics. Well, you know what? There's some new reporting that the DOJ lawyers in Trump-related cases, in Trump-related litigation, are losing 96% of the time, whether in cases brought by Harvard University or by law firms or by press organizations like the AP, or brought by USAID, or brought by immigrants who are having their constitutional due process rights violated. Trump lawyers are losing 96% of the time. And he's losing in cases presided over by Republican-appointed judges, by Democrat-appointed judges, and yes, by Trump-appointed judges. And he's losing not because of Leonard Leo or the Federalist Society or lunatic judges, as he calls them. He's losing because his, Donald Trump's, conduct day after day after day is unlawful and unconstitutional, transparently so. But friends, let's end with some good news, because it really does look like Donald Trump's sphere of influence and support, coming from what I'll call the legal conservative intelligentsia, is shrinking. It's contracting. Because that's what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you, and because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.